I was at a meeting downtown on January 3rd.
I was in Chicago and we were scheduled to pick up my stepdaughter at the airport that day.
I got a text from Steve McCarthy, our VP of sales, saying, you need to come home. You need to come back to the ballpark.
I got a call from my son Joe, who is a staff member here, and he said, Dad, there's a fire in one of the suites.
Well, we heard about it through a friend.
And then our assignment editor, Amy, said, I think there's smoke coming out of Fifth Third Ballpark.
There's a certain amount of helplessness and loss of control that you have when you're hearing about a fire, 200 miles away.
For some reason, I thought, okay, a little fire. It didn't dawn on me that it could be significant.
A minute or two after the initial viewing of the smoke is when we got another angle and really zoomed in, and wow, there's some flames there. We saw a lot of orange right away.
We immediately went online and there was live coverage of the fire, and it just took you back.
Then he called me back probably half an hour, 40 minutes later. He said, Dad, it's a lot worse.
I jumped in my car and I started driving on 131 towards the ballpark, and the minute I got on 131, I could see the smoke. And I'm like, oh my God.
The flames, the intensity of it, and this was live, and you're realizing, you think of ballpark fire, how bad can it be? And then you realize this was bad.
First thing that entered my mind was, is everybody out? And they assured me that everyone was accounted for, and then we just sat there and watched it burn. It was a surreal experience.
At that point, he wasn't sure whether we were going to lose the whole thing, or he just knew we were going to lose a lot of the ballpark. We put our heart and souls into this place, and so I would imagine it's the same thing as standing out in the middle of the street and watching your house burn down.
The thing that dawned on me is, what do we have to do to play baseball on opening day? And that's what the entire staff thought about. And then had the press conference shortly thereafter with Denny leading the way, and that was his message.
Lou and I, we're a couple of determined guys, and we're saying, we're going to play on opening day. We're still going to have an all-star game. I mean, I'm absolutely confident of that because of the people behind me, but this does not change our operating plan. We're going to be playing baseball.
It all begins with Wolverine Building and Fred Gilbert.
You know what? On the day this place burned down, Fred Gilbert got here before I did.
Well, you could put it back together. We got a call that they had a fire started, and at first we thought it was just something little that we were going to go down and help them take care of, close it up and stuff, but it turned into a lot more than that.
He was the Wolverine superintendent on this job in 1993, 1994, and here he is doing it again 22 years later.
We had a winter just like this back when we built it 20 years ago, almost exactly like this, and it's been a challenge.
The conditions are tough. I mean, it's been below zero, but it says something about the work ethic here.
But I love that attitude because the people of West Michigan, this is kind of a can-do community.
We're all working roughly 6 days a week. Everybody's putting in like 10. Some are getting 11 hours a day in.
The message was, we're going to play on April 8th, and damn, I believed it.
guess if there's one silver lining that could come from something as tragic as the fire, it's that it gives us an opportunity to make some changes that we were already thinking about doing. One of the biggest things you're going to see right away, a new souvenir shop. It's literally going to be 3 times bigger than the souvenir shop that we've been using for the last 20 years. For the most part, we're rebuilding that first main concession stand. When all is said and done, that stand is going to be able to serve more people more efficiently, faster. And we think that the ballpark is going to be bigger and better than ever.
This facility means a lot to the community. Someone on our staff said it's the community's summer cottage.
I mean, the outpouring of support that we've had from the community has been absolutely unbelievable.
I don't think I've ever seen a story that people in the news business were so emotional about. I sat right there with my kids. You know, we had an ice cream. We walked up and had Dippin' Dots there 2 years ago in that little section. So you start putting your kids in those seats, and that's when it really starts getting a little emotional.
I lived here for 8 years and loved it here before I moved to Detroit. I think the guys who've come through this town only realize after they leave how special it is with what they have going at that ballpark.
A day or two after the fire, we had a lady that I don't even know. She's just a fan. She dropped by the Stadium Club and she brought us a check for $5 for the Rebuild the Stadium Fund. You know, and it's all she could afford, but I mean, that's representative of how people feel about this place and how they communicated it to us.
The sense of ownership that this community has with this facility, this is their facility. You know, it's where they come to spend their summers.